haven't done a contemplating video in a long time. My thoughts are just so sporadic, and I'm constantly doing something to stay alive. Like drive to go to the bathroom or get water, or I don't have service because I'm getting away from people. Anyway, I'm in traffic, so I just had a breakdown, so I'm sure it's glorious after cry glow going on. You can see my mess everywhere. We've been in the car for way too long. And it's getting cold. It's getting to be around, it's the holidays, right? So, like what Hanukkah just started, Christmas is in, I don't know when, a week and a half or so. You can see the beautiful sunset behind me, at least. The Napa sunset. So I've been living on the road now for about a year and a half, and pretty much everyone's been really amazing, especially when I had the trailer. You know, people came up to me and wanted to talk about it because it was really cool. I miss her a lot. And I've noticed that I don't keep up with anything going on in the world. And I've noticed more and more the more times that I come to town for something, which is always medical. I have these horrible experiences, and they've been getting worse and worse and worse. And this last time I have been in town only Friday. Well, one day, today, and then before that it was 3 days. And can you hear Leah snoring? You see her? But every single time I've been in town, I've been yelled at by a stranger, by someone that doesn't know me, that doesn't know my situation. I was criticized online. You know, people jumping to judgments and things about me because I asked for some help on a county bulletin board website thing. I said, hey, I'm living in my car. I have a couple dogs with me. I have to go to the doctor. And I did have it lined up that they would be taken care of, but I don't want to leave them in my car. One's a 10-week-old puppy, and the other one I just literally got the day before, and she was supposedly aggressive toward dogs, and I was just like, does anyone know of anyone that can help or can help me for just 2 hours? I knew that everyone I know was gonna be at work. It was 10:30 in the morning, so people are like, why, if you're living in your car, why do you have dogs? And why would you have a puppy? Why would you get a 10-week-old puppy you can't even take care of yourself, and blah, 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 and all these things. And I mean, all of those things really hurt me. There were a lot of people defending me, but at the same time, like, people jumping to judgments like that has become so common and so okay, if that makes any sense. Like, there's, online, of course, there's no repercussions or anything, but like, it seems to be fine to say that kind of stuff to people. Like, them or know what's going on, and of course I responded with like, hey, I have a neurological disorder and I have to see my doctor in this town every month, and I had something lined up and I have more space elsewhere, but like, my 10-week-old puppy is going to train with my other one to be a service dog, because I need a service dog because mine died tragically, and they're my family. Like, they are what gets me up in the morning. They're my everything. If I didn't have them, I wouldn't have a reason to live. I wouldn't have a reason to get up. I wouldn't have a reason to try. I wouldn't have a reason to walk, or even go to the doctor, or give a shit about my health, or get my medication. Sometimes that's all people have, and sometimes that's great. Why are you criticizing the homeless person for having a companion or a service animal that they need to train? Because I need one to notify me, like, hey, you need to chill the fuck out or you're gonna have a seizure, which mine does amazingly, but I'm afraid she's not gonna pass one of the tests because she likes to talk a lot. So anyway, that's in another video. But the other dog was, you know what, I have to explain it. They're my family. They're what I have. And I was looking to take care of them while I was in like a 45-minute doctor's appointment. Like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I feel like that's responsible. And so not only just getting criticized online, like I said, Leah is very talkative, and she decided, to bark at this little dog, and she's wagging her tail always, like, she's super friendly. And this guy is like, can you hear Siri telling me where to go? And he just looks at her like I'm making her sit down, being like, hey, no speak, blah, 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 sit and wait, da, da, da. And she's still every once in a while like, burf, burf, whatever. And he just like walks his dog really far away from me, and he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, get your animal under control. And I'm like, I'm trying. Like, okay, she's harmless. Like, she's obviously just wanting to play. She's a dog. So that was my first night in town, and just letting her out to go to the bathroom. Like, and then, I've just had so many terrible experiences since I've been here, like, every day, that I just can't even recall them all. For example, there was a giant truck parked, and that's fine, whatever, but it takes up a lot of space. So in order for me to park around, I had to pull all the way around, and my truck doesn't have the greatest turning radius, right? So I'm parked on the line on the other side, and I'm on the phone with the pharmacy trying to figure out if I can get my medication before I leave. And this girl girl comes to my window and she's like, excuse me, but you're on the line and I need you to move so I can back out. And I'm like, there's no one in the spot on the other side of her. Like, what the fuck? Like, can you just not drive? Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, if I move over anymore, I can't get out of my door, you know? And she's like, excuse me, and keeps knocking. And I'm like, I'm trying to talk to my pharmacist. Like, what the hell? What gives you the right to interrupt me? Like, well, I'm doing something important that's going to take me 5 seconds. And I was like, okay, just 1 second, you know, like just 1 second. I'll see what I can do, but I doubt I can do anything. You're in this tiny little car. It's not my fault that you can't see around me. Like, and she just kept knocking and kept like doing the thing and like flipping her hair. And then like, of course the dogs are all barking and going crazy. And then this other guy, you know, we're in a line of traffic and we're like going down the highway, 1-lane highway, or like 2-lane, I guess. And he's right around a curve and someone's sweeping something and he's like just has a sign like slow, and we all like had to slam on our brakes because we couldn't see him. It's like him, truck, guy, like no other warning to slow down. And he's screaming at everybody like, you fucking idiots, like slow the fuck down, like can't you see me, dumbass, blah 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 blah. And he yells, because my window's down because of the dogs, and he just yells in my window, dumbass, at me. I'm like, there's a whole line of traffic that just slammed on their brakes. Like, why
At the light, use the left 2 lanes to turn onto Jameson Canyon Road.
So anyway, that's a whole long rant to my contemplating thing, where I just want to point out I don't really know, I don't have the words for it right now, but like the downfall of society, the collapse of human civilization, and like that's obviously started and it's been projected to us, so that we break down ourselves and we start by losing our humanness, our humanity, our empathy for each other. And it's becoming more and more apparent every time I'm around people, you know. The other incident was at a gas station, and I'm on the side of where my gas tank is because I cannot physically lift the thing and the hose across my car. It's too heavy for me. And there's a guy yelling at me to like go to this other side, and I'm like, no, I don't want to, you know, I can't. I'm telling him I can't, like, no, I'm here, this is where I want to go. And instead of like, and I've been waiting in line, instead of, you know, being like, oh, okay, well, she's obviously there for a reason, he stands in front of the pump so that his friend can drive and cut me off in it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not, like, you guys didn't even wait, you know, like, I understand maybe you needed that side too, but like, I was waiting here in line for it for a reason. And anyway, the person there working came out and was like, you need to go around to the other one. And I was just like, why can't any of these other people that are in line do that? So I ended up doing it, and I ended up not being able to lift the thing, dropping it, falling on the ground, having a seizure, like becoming paralyzed and not being able to drive home the rest of the way. So that was exciting. You know, like, maybe people have reasons for the things that they're doing. maybe I waited the extra 5 minutes because I had a reason to. We're losing our compassion. And I was afraid of this like almost 20 years ago, when that free hugs movement was going on, and I was wandering the streets then too, and giving out free hugs or whatever, hugs also like for $1 or something to help me get wherever. I just had a day pack and was sleeping on park benches and stuff, but it felt a lot safer then. Maybe I was more naive, I don't know, maybe both, but it's to the point where I am tired. I can't mentally or physically take being around people or being in town or the city anymore because of the lack of compassion and empathy and humanity, and that's the goal. And we're falling into it. We're falling into this collapse that is wanted, for this one world sort of government system to take over. Because if we're all against each other, then, there's nobody to rise up against them. And I don't know also if it's more because it's this time of year. Like I said, it's the holidays. People might be more stressed out. But at the same time, like
6.1 miles. Keep right onto
my entire life, I feel like I've been the butt of like everyone's stress. And that's because I'm an easy target. I'm small. Oh my gosh, which another one reminds me of. I'm small, I'm quiet, I don't retaliate, all of these things. Another one, a guy had his dog off leash playing fetch, and I was walking the dogs or whatever, and and we were in a big group of people with dogs, and Leah and a couple other dogs were like barking every time the dog went to go get the ball. They're like, poof, 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 like I want to play fetch too. And he came up to Leah, like stepped up to Leah, like to her, and was like, yeah, fuck with the pit bull, see what happens. And the dog, his pit bull's like wagging its tail, like it's just like, oh, you want to play fetch? I want to play fetch, like, okay. And Leah's like, okay, yeah, let's play fetch. And then I was like, okay, get in the car, girls, we don't want to deal with that, and so the girls got in the car, and he looks at me and steps to me, like this big dude, like middle-aged guy. He steps to me like that and is like, if you have something to say to me, say it to my face. And I'm like, what? We're just leaving because I don't want to deal with that. Anyway, it's getting dark. So my whole contemplating thing is like, do you see this in society, and do you see how it's affecting our mental health and our wellness? And also, I know it's getting really long, but I wanted to add that I think technology and not having that sort of human interpersonal interaction, the energy field exchange, like, is contributing to it too. Like, we aren't feeling each other's feelings anymore, so we don't fucking care. We don't give a fuck who we offend or like what we say to anybody. It doesn't matter, right? Like, we're so disconnected from each other. It was the world, right? It was the earth. It was all these things, but now it's become each other. That we think that we're only living for ourselves and what we think is right, and we don't care about anyone else's story or anyone else's anything. Like, we are so set in our ways and have been so blinded to them by ads and things that, you know, specifically target the one thing that we're searching, that we think we're so right that we won't even listen to anyone else's side of the story, and that is tearing us apart as a society, as a species, and it's eventually going to be the end of us. And gosh, I hope not. You know, I hope we can get our shit together, because I see it. People's mental health is going unchecked, and there's less and less you know, people out there that are helping people with mental health issues. Instead, they're just throwing them to the wayside and like letting them live on the streets and then blaming them for it, you know. Kind of like this dog that I picked up, my newest dog, like she was just misunderstood and she had anxiety. She was pent up like energy wise, and so she released that anxiety with aggression, and it wasn't aggressive aggression, it was like scared, anxious aggression. And as soon as I got her, she's not aggressive, she's fine. I have told her she's loved, you know, I understand, like she's anxious, I'm trying to get rid of all of her, like whatever causes her anxiety, whatever. She is the best dog in the world, and she was going to get put down for being aggressive, and that's insane. So yeah, we're all misunderstood, and no one wants to take the time to understand each other anymore. We just are we're just gonna let whoever win, whoever it is that's in charge, and that I think is money. So yeah, that's my contemplating with me. What do you think? How do you feel about my feelings? It's so dark. All right. Till next time.